Okay. Thank you. Perfect. Hi, my name is Shunda and I'm an alcoholic. It feels so good to say. Oof. I used to hate saying that. I used to say, hi, I'm Shonda, I'm a Virgo. Hi, I'm Shonda, I'm from Miami. Because I just couldn't say the alcoholic thing. And now it's just, just feels so good to say it. Thank you, Jenny, for your message of hope and recovery. I really appreciate it. I was when you ended, I was like, "Ooh, who's next?" She was great. She was excellent. And then I forgot. So this, I'm going to preface this by a couple of things. This is my experience, strength, and hope. It does not have to be anybody else's. Your story doesn't have to be like mine. You don't have to agree with what I say or think what I say falls in line with the AA program. And I think that is fabulous. I'm a cusser, okay? It's a part of my story, it's a part of who I am. And when I came into AA, I heard someone say motherfucker and God in the same sentence. And I was like, I'm home. Woo! Yes! 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 I just thought, oh my God, is that possible? It just, I mean, and there was no gasping or women clutching their pearls, or it was like people laughing and enjoying themselves. So you're gonna hear couple 4, 5, 6 letter words in my share. So if somebody is listening to this and you got children around, please hide your children. And if you don't like cussing, just close your ears every now and then. So I don't know why I'm in AA. Like I want a story that is wretched and horrible. Like I grew up and there was all this abuse in the house, and then I was hooking on the streets, and then, I got into 19 accidents, and, my story is pretty boring. And so for a long time I thought, do I really belong here? I mean, y'all have gone through some stuff. I don't know if I really belong here. And you all convinced me that, I didn't have to have 6 accidents. I could just have one. That's one was plenty. I didn't have to uh, get drunk in public places in every state of the union. I could do like 12, and that's totally fine. Um, and I think back to when I was a kid. I don't know when it happened, but when I think about it, I was like, I was a happy little kid. I mean, like happy, happy. That kind of happy where you don't even need a reason to be happy. I was just happy. I wake up in the morning, hey, I'd go play with some mud. I'm like, yes. I'd put on my little cowgirl boots and I have my little braids. I was just happy for no reason at all. And it was wonderful. I remember being in elementary school, and I was with these boys, and we were coloring. We were coloring and making these pictures, and I took my picture up to my teacher, and it was a Confederate flag. And I was like, look what I drew. And she was like, oh my God. I had no idea what that meant. Because I was happy. I was just happy. None of that stuff meant anything to me. And at some point, in some way, shape, or form, that changed. Where I wasn't this happy little kid anymore. And I can't tell you exactly when that happened. Because when I was that happy little kid, I didn't know I was black. Just Shonda. When I was a happy little kid, I didn't know I was a woman. What the hell does that mean? I'm just happy. When I was that little kid, I didn't know I was gay. And then I started learning all of these things like, you're black, so you know what that means. You know what neighborhood you live in, so you know what that means. You're a lady and have lady parts, so you know what that means. And all of this information started coming in that made me have to rethink. Oof, I can't wake up happy anymore. I have to be on guard. I have to be paying attention. I have to be alert. I have to try to blend in. I have to try to make sure that you think I'm safe and that you like me. I have to. And that became a terrible, terrible place to be, where instead of being this happy, carefree kid, I was just a scared, sad somebody. Even in elementary school, just sad, and not really clear why. Not really understanding what did I have to do to feel like I fit in with everyone. What did I have to do to feel like I dressed right, I ran right, I put my makeup on right, I said the right things, that I knew the right stuff. What did I have to do? And I spent a lot of years, a lot of years trying to fit and make sure I was doing the right thing. And I got good at reading your face, reading your, are they looking at me like I'm doing the right thing? I got it. Yes. And then I keep that mask on. I'm like, yeah, yeah. And then your face would change. I'm like, okay, what do you need now? What do you need now? What kind of thing what pretzel do I need to be? And as long as you looked at me like I was doing the right thing, that's all I needed. That's all I needed. And in that process, I completely lost that happy little girl, that happy kid that just wanted to be in this life. I became what you wanted, what you wanted, what you wanted, what you didn't want, what you wanted, what you didn't want, what you didn't want, what you didn't want. I mean, and it was just it. I became everything for everyone else. And when you're lost like that, so far outside of your so far outside of my identity of knowing who I was, I'm this scared black gay girl in the South. I just, when I found alcohol, I was like, hell yeah. Oh my God. Oh my, when you talk about a brand new day, God. Woo-hoo. When you can't, I mean, I was the little kid in junior high with the pencil underneath my shirt, stabbing myself in the stomach, just because I just couldn't stand it. I couldn't stand myself. Nobody was beating. Well, I was getting beaten because I was the South, but nobody was abusing me at home. I had food in my belly. I had lived in a safe neighborhood. And so why was I sitting in junior high school stabbing myself with a pencil? For what? No reason. No reason. But when I took that first drink, it was it was a brand new day. And I'd never experienced that before, where it was kind of like, you like me, don't you? Like, I like me. This is awesome. This is amazing. I mean, and I thought, what else do I need? I have found the answer. For every question, I have found the answer. And I commit to really participating in that answer frequently, as much as I could, as often as I could. And it was an answer for a long time. Oh my goodness. I don't think there's anybody in this room that loves liquor more than me. I bet you. I love it. Love it. Oh, love it, love it, love it. Sometimes I'm like, is it possible that I've been sober this long? Because I love booze. I love it. All on the shelves and in the glasses and the different rocks and all. I mean, like shaking it up, and I just loved it. I have pictures of me kissing bottles. In my journal, I'm like, my best friend, always here. I had pictures on the wall of people like injecting liquor into their arm. I loved it, and so because it had really been transformative for me, transformative. And I have to say that alcohol, I don't know how alcohol turned on me, because I didn't really have a problem. Other people started coming to me and saying, girl, you got a problem. I mean, and I'm in my 20s and I'm like, you drink right beside me. What are you talking about? girl, you got a problem. Or a friend will say, I think you're an alcoholic. I'm like, I don't drink before noon. So how could I be an alcoholic? I've never drank before noon. That's what alcoholics do. Never. Or my friend would say, I'm really worried about your drinking. I'm like, okay, is my drinking affecting your bill paying, your relationship, your mama, your daddy? Then why are you even talking to me? Why are you talking to me? It just made no sense to me. It made no sense to me whatsoever. I had a friend mail me a damn when and where. I was like, you motherfucker. I mean, how dare you? How dare you mail me a meeting AA when and where? For whatever reason, I threw it in a drawer. Should have thrown it away, but I threw it in a drawer. Forgot about it. Didn't understand AA, didn't want AA, didn't want anything to do with AA. And I was living in Connecticut at the time, and I was driving home. And at this point, I had been out when I was in college, but then I moved to another state, and I was like, ooh, get back in the closet. Yeah, I didn't know what it was going to be like. And I was driving home from work, and I saw this black girl in a car with a rainbow sticker on her car. I don't know who she was, have no idea who she was, but I started following her. And I was like, this girl's gonna lead me to all the black lesbians, all of them. She made a left, I made a left. She went straight, I was like, I'm on it, girl. Take me there, take me there. She pulled into a parking lot, I pulled into a parking lot. She went down some steps, I was like, hey, here we go, this is it. And then I heard, welcome to Alcoholics Anonymous. I was like, what? Are you kidding me? That was my first AA meeting. That was my very, very, very first AA. Unbelievable. On all these coincidences, that I followed. Never saw that lady again. Don't know what happened to her. And at that time, I wasn't ready. I walked in, I was like, ooh, look at y'all. So this is what drunk people do? I felt like I had crossed the yellow police line. I was peeking in, like, ooh, they got little bugs. Look at them. Oh, that's so sweet. Oh. And I think I stayed there about 20 minutes. And I was like, I don't want to be with no drunk. Got out of there. And later on, that was the first meeting that I went back to when I was ready. And it took a long time to get ready, a very, very long time to get ready. And I'm going to kind of speed ahead a little bit and talk about kind of like all of these amazing coincidences that happen in early recovery that I really look at as seeing the presence of my higher power. Like that lesbian lady. I don't know her. I never stalked somebody before. And I'm like, I mean, it's like I've never done it since. I didn't do it before. I've never done it since. In that moment, unbelievable. I was getting sober, hanging out in meetings. Where I was living, it's a bunch of old white men. And I was like, clearly, this is not for me. Because I didn't see that black lady anymore. These were like blue collar workers. I was like, I have an education. I haven't been to jail. I don't have a DUI. Okay, I've had a couple accidents, but that has nothing to do with this. And I really was like, there's no black women here, so I really don't belong here. All of a sudden, this black lady with 10 years of recovery comes in. I was like, damn it, look at that. And she was like, you got a sponsor? Now you do. The woman lived 7 houses down from me. 7 houses down from me. And she was somebody that every day I was able to go to her house and just sit. Because I didn't know what to do with my time. Do you know how much time I spent thinking about drinking, acquiring the alcohol, drinking the alcohol, getting more alcohol, drinking that alcohol? It was hours and hours and hours of my day. So when I couldn't drink, I was like, what do people do? What do you do? And she would and I'd sit in her home and I'd just cry like, this is unbelievable. Like, I could not believe that people live like this. without drinking. And I really felt like y'all didn't understand that if I didn't have alcohol, I was gonna die. That I was not gonna make it out because that happy kid that turned into a sad kid was now a suicidal adult. And alcohol was that saving grace that when it got so crazy in my mind, I take a drink, a better day, baby. Hey. And so I felt like you can't take away my answer. You can't take away my answer for everything. You just can't. Um, mm. And she just sat there and let me cry. She make delicious meals and feed me, and her kids would be running around, and I'm just sitting there crying, eating the lo mein that she just made. She was like, "I've never done the steps. I ain't gonna take you through the steps." Thank God for that. Because if she had come to me like, "No, the steps to this to that," I would have been like, "You know what? Kiss my ass. We need this stuff." Because religion would have come into my mind. She took me to dances. She took me to conventions. She had all her sober girlfriends come in, and I saw what people did when they were sober. When I had a birthday, my friends didn't know that I was going to AA, so of course everybody's bringing the liquor, and I was like, Kathy, they're bringing it for me. That liquor is for me. I can't not drink it. I mean, like, they're coming to my house to celebrate my birthday with gifts. That would be rude. That would be rude. And I can't do that. And they would look at me if I didn't drink. And my sponsor said, "You know what? I'm going to come to your birthday party." We were the only two sober people at the end of the party. Could not believe it. Could not believe it. My favorite shit in front of my face. And I was like, how in the world? How in the world? Um, Finally, the day came when I was like, maybe I had 2 months. I was like, I really don't like this. And I drank. And drank a couple beers. And some thought came into my head. This will never stop. And that thought that came into my head, I believed it. I believed that this would never stop. Fast forward, I got 18 months sober, and I'm like, well, I'm miserable. Uh, I've met some people, I've done some meetings, ready to give AA the big old bird because this is not working for me. And I meet this guy down in the South with a big old John Deere hat, chewing tobacco in his mouth, who comes up to me in a meeting as I'm just going off. And he's like, "You need the steps." He's got a big old belly and he's really tall. And I'm like, what is this? What is happening? He's like, come to me with my car. I'm like, oh. Oh, I know what's happening. And why did I go with this man? Went with this man. And he commenced to tell me his story. Uh, uh, and he got to a point in his story where he said, sobriety has changed me. I was a card carrying member of the KKK. That that hit me so hard. I'm like, if AA can change this motherfucker, this dude, really, John Deere hat, I was like, maybe there's a chance that something can change for me. That a dude who was a card carrying member of the KKK was saving a little black girl's life. Unbelievable. Another coincidence. So this man took me through the steps and sponsored me for a year. It was amazing. I was on fire. After I did those steps, I was like, ooh, okay, let's do the steps. Everybody, you need the steps. You need the steps. Let's get some steps in. Oh, steps. Oh, Lord. It was like a revelation. And I started getting some things. I started getting, went back to school. I got a job. I was making some money. I was moving around the country. I was like, hey, this sobriety thing is all right. Thank you, sobriety. I got married. I did my amends to my family. I paid people back. The luckily for me, the destruction um, was really with the people I love. They were the ones that were hurt the most. My mom, my dad, my brother, my sister, grandparents, all that stuff. They were the ones that I hurt the most. And so rebuilding those relationships came back pretty quickly. And I thought, okay, this is recovery. So I'm sitting in my house. I don't know. I got 20 something years sober. I'm sitting in my house and I'm saying, I had more money than I ever, like, I had so much money I could throw it out the window. I don't need, I got my dream car in the driveway. I got like a 17 bedroom house. I got a wife that's hot as shit. I got a job that I love. But why do I want to kill myself? Why do I, at 20 plus years sober? Why? What's wrong? And I realized that my alcoholism is like an octopus. It will try to kill me any way it can. So through my sobriety, I thought if I got degrees, if I got money, if I got a house, if I got a car, if I got this, if I knew this person, if I had these letters behind my name, ooh, that's sobriety, that's sobriety. I still did the steps, worked the steps, had a sponsor, sponsored people, took people through the steps, but still thought that something external would treat whatever that was in that little girl that made me get sad. And I have come to appreciate that recovery is not just for the people with 24 hours. It's for the people with 20 years, 25 years, 30 years, 40 years. When they say that, give that moment of, can we have a moment of silence for the sick and suffering alcoholic in and out of these rooms? I'm like, hi, I am sober for 23 years and I'm the sick and suffering alcoholic in the room. What? And so am I gonna start pulling out the book, reading or quoting pieces of the book, or am I gonna own up to what's really going on with me, what's happening? And I owned up to it. And I found a meeting. Interestingly, it was in another 12-step group, different 12-step group at AA. AA is my home. I love AA. I will never leave AA. I ain't got nowhere else to go. But I found another 12-step group that really helped me look at the steps in a different way. And for the first time in my life, in my recovery, I actually have been able to get through some of the God stuff because that was super hard for me. The God stuff was, I think I started it over again. I did that by accident. Oh, okay. Sorry about that. And for me, God was a mean, judgmental, fireball throwing, scrutinizing person. And so I was okay with God taking the alcohol. I was like, you can have that. Okay. I'm powerless. You can have the alcohol thing. I got everything else. I'll take care of everything else. And so I let God have the alcohol stuff. And I commenced to take care of everything else, which led me to the place that I was. And to this meeting that I started going to that had people in long-term recovery talking about the same things, feeling the same way, and people in long-term recovery saying, I felt that way. I was at the bottom. I had a bottom in recovery, and I went back to basics. I went back to the steps in a different way. And during these years, part of my amends to my, no, part of the amends to my parents was living amends. But everybody in my family's sick. Everybody's sick. My mother had pretty severe dementia for about 12 years, and my sister and I took care of her. My sister for 5 years in her home. My dad now also has dementia, and he's living with me. And it's been really an honor and a privilege to care for them the way they cared for me. But when my mother passed away about a year ago, I was at this crossroads of struggling with these steps and thinking, how am I really going to let this higher power in beyond the alcohol? I don't want you in my marriage. I don't want you in my job. I don't want you in my friendships. I just, keep me from drinking and I'll do the rest. But when my mother passed away, some a light it went out in my life. A light went out in my life. And my mother's passing was actually one of the things that truly led me to a God of my understanding. So I don't know about God. I don't know all of God's thoughts. And for 20 plus years, I was like, God is not you. When you pray, pray to whom it may concern. And that was all I needed. Great. And now, with my mother deceased, I'm like, my mother loved me like stink. And I know it in my belly. Like there's no piece of me that does not know Elaine would have chopped her finger off if somebody said it would help her kid. And so if my mother is somewhere with this higher power, then she got me. She's like, she'll smooth it all out. She'll make it right. She'll do what she has to do. And my prayers became, Dear God, Mom. And I think I look at my mother's picture, that's me having a conscious contact with the higher power to be able to have that power come into all areas of my life. That is the only thing she's ever wanted for me. That being connected and introduced to a God of my understanding is all. And I look at her picture, it's almost like she's like, I gotcha, I gotcha. And it has truly been a life-changing and life-affirming process to know and feel that my higher power is not going to sit in judgment of the other areas of my life. Because with the drinking, I don't drink, sponsor, go to meetings, that, blah, blah. What do you got to say? I did it. But with the other areas of my life, I just wasn't ready. I wasn't ready to have God help me with my overspending. I wasn't ready to have God help me with my procrastination. I wasn't ready to have God help me with doing other things that I didn't want to do, that I shouldn't do. I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready to give those things up, just like I wasn't ready to give up the drinking. And so it's been a struggle. I'm back in the step work again with this greater understanding of a higher power, the higher power that actually can do something for me beyond drinking. And I tell you, it's a completely different experience. And that's the thing that I feel is the most important thing I want to talk about in my story is that recovery never ends. Like there's no end point. There's no like you get here and then you're safe. Or you get here and you ring a bell and you don't have to do anything more. Like I can continue to grow in this program to the day that I die. I did not know that. I did not know that the first time I did the steps was just the beginning, that it wasn't the end of anything, but it was to be an unfolding process. And because I came in young and had experiences that experiences that that you go through as a young person, I didn't really, and you're striving and you're doing your stuff. I didn't really realize how much I needed the steps because I was able to get it done. I got some stuff done, and became successful. So I'm good. But all of that, if I look back, all of that, without my permission, was a damn higher power working in my life. From getting back into school, meeting my wife. If I tell y'all the stories, you'd be like, they're as strange as the lesbian alcoholic, as strange as the KKK alcoholic. Like these are the ways that my higher power has shown up. And I can see that now. Before, I was like, you got the alcohol, perfect. I'll take care of everything else. But now as I'm going through the steps and I'm looking back again, I'm like, wow, look at that coincidence. Look at that coincidence. Look at that coincidence. And things that I never connected with a higher power, I can see it in a way that I couldn't see it before. And so I'll have to say that I'll end with saying, it feels so good to say that I'm an alcoholic. Being an alcoholic is the best thing that has ever happened to me in my life. The best. And there is nothing but a higher power that can make that statement true. Like, being an alcoholic is the best thing that has ever, will ever happen to me in my life, because it brought me here. Thanks for letting me share.